Here we are live. Well, hello everyone and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. And I have back again this very fine lady in front of me, super talented. And that of course is Sheila from Celtic Tarot. Now, it's been a while, isn't it, Sheila, since we last collabed, but we had a hoot. I think it was
Yes.
so funny the last time. So just give us a little update. How have things been for you and what have you been finding interesting in the news at the moment?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. Well, one thing is I got my basement back. Now I'm able to do videos on a regular. Uh, yeah, so I got to do that. But in the news, I mean, it's been a long year this week with inmate 45.
A long year this week. No, you're absolutely right. My
With
God.
inmate 45. I mean, this country, just being here at ground zero in this country, sometimes a lot of the information, a lot of the little itty bitty underground talking stuff doesn't get across the pond, right?
Cool.
We're hearing a lot of the anger, and the TikTokers are going, "We're going to break him out of jail if he gets prison." You know what I mean? Like they're just bonkers. They have literally switched. They have literally given up their original God and placed Trump in that position right now. They have that is just, it's unbelievable what they do and how far. But that's okay because they can lose it, their minds, their soul, their whatever, along with Trump losing his privileges and his freedom. They can just walk hand in hand with him, and we'll let them go.
Yeah. Wow. It's just astonishing, isn't it? It's just
It is.
astonishing. We've seen the world be turned upside down and inside out, where the macabre and the strange has now become commonplace and everyday.
Well, the
And it is,
American, yeah.
yeah. Oh no, go on. You were gonna say?
I'm so sorry. I was just when you said macabre and strange, what popped in my head was, yeah, they tried to introduce aliens here in the United States, and we're like, so
I know. I know.
who cares? I mean, they're better than the Republicans at this point. Let's switch. We have a trade-off here.
You know what? You've made such a good point. You've made such a good point because they basically look they regardless of what the stance is, the government and the government effectively the American government has basically admitted it. Yeah, there's aliens and whatever, and everyone's just like,
Yeah.
whatever. Because I think there's such overwhelm at the moment. It's so all-consuming. There is so much going on in politics, in people's lives. It's so tumultuous. It's so busy. It's so distracting. There's only so much that people can absorb. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think we really do live in extraordinary times. And I think everyone present here on Earth witnessing this right now, we all know it's all weird, isn't it? We all know. We're just like, you know what? We just have to see where this whole thing goes because it is just extraordinary.
I
So,
think the aliens drive by the Earth and lock their doors.
or they
They're
just
like,
don't forget
"Oh,
the thing.
we're passing Earth again." Click.
You know what? I'm sure they're tuning into the whole kind of Trump saga and debacle because I think it virtually is galactic now. It is of
Yeah,
such extraordinary
yeah,
proportions that we could be in this scenario, isn't it? It's just
yeah.
remarkable. So I'll give you a little rundown of what's going to be happening in the show. So everyone knows, folks, that when you're watching, whenever I have guests on, we just go in raw. There's no pre whatever. They don't know what I'm gonna throw at them as you know. But I'm gonna give you the theme. And before I do that, please don't forget as well to like and subscribe and press the bell notification. And of course, if you're new to either our channels, don't forget to subscribe to Sheila as well because she does great videos and great content. And I just want to give a super quick shout out to Ruth Goldberg. If you are watching, I've just written an astrology book, and I'm having some beta readers have a look at it and give feedback. She read it in less than 24 hours.
Wow.
Like, what? I mean, I know it's an easy read, but anyway, she just tore through that. So thanks so much for that. So to give you a little idea, Sheila, of what we're going to talk about, obviously, because I do astrology as well. So we've got some Venus, many planets, a few planets are retrograde, but Venus is retrograde, planet of relationships, yeah, and choices and decisions, marriage, yeah. So the first two questions.
Yeah, I'm not married, but it's yeah.
Is that bringing stuff back for you, Sheila?
It does.
Okay.
Some trauma response there.
Oh, so we've got two questions that are going to be the first two questions are sort of like themed around that, marriage and breakups, and it will make sense why. And then we're going to be looking a bit at George Santos. We've not spoken about him. Remember him? We've not spoken about him for a while. There's going to be a bit of Russia, and then we're going to also be looking at things going on with Florida in terms of health, potential issues and stuff. And then we're going to finish up with a bit of Matt Gaetz and Shakespeare if we have time. So are you ready for us to begin?
I am ready.
Brilliant. Okay, so the first question, Venus is retrograde, everyone. What's Venus? Like I said, the arts, beauty, relationships, marriage, food, etc., all of this kind of stuff. And when a planet is going retrograde, whatever it symbolizes, it essentially means review, revise, reassess, recalibrate, etc. And this is a bit of a different one. I don't normally do celebrity questions per se, but you may have heard that Britney Spears and her partner have announced their divorce. Yeah?
Yeah.
Trudeau and his wife has also announced their divorce as well. I'm not going to go there with the Trudeau thing because it was so controversial last time. Anyway, never mind. But
yeah.
There is this element here of review, revise, reassess, and recalibrate when it comes to relationships. And she's had a lot of ups and downs. And I want to see just what is the future for Britney going forward, because she's certainly been unlucky in love, hasn't she? Bless her.
She has. And I have... just to put this out there with Britney Spears, when I see her face, I saw the article and then I looked at her face in the picture that they have posted of her. Her mental illness is so glaring in her facial features. I have a feeling that's gonna either, how would I put this? I mean, I don't think she's addressing her mental health. Something is going wrong. Something has gone wrong. So I just wanted to put that out there, that when I see her, I see her mental illness on her face.
Yeah. I think with Britney, and that's why when I saw the story, because I was like, oh, bless her, because out of all of the pop stars, and obviously there's many pop stars and stuff like that we could mention, and that might even be controversial in itself. But let's just say, in terms of this more contemporaneous era, Britney Spears has had one of the most difficult times. I mean, because, she was a Disney kid, her, Timberlake and Christina Aguilera.
It doesn't give any wiggle room for a child to see. When you bake a pie, you have to have every single ingredient in order for this pie to come out of the oven correctly, right? Mm-hmm. When you place a child in an adult world, the child portion of it gets smashed, diminished, and therefore it never is able to grow. So when they become an adult, the child blows up in their system. Yeah. And when that child blows up in the system, that child says, you will never put me down again. And it takes years for that reversal to come around. Absolutely. And I think that is what happened to her. Although I'm not a licensed psychologist, don't get me wrong. A few classes in college does not give me the right to diagnose her at all. Mm-hmm. But this is just my own personal assessment of what I've heard and seen throughout the years.
Yeah. And she was the main breadwinner as well. That was the other stuff. And that was one of the things she said, from a kid, I've always been working, and her dad made her work, conservatorship. But even more mature, huge stars. I think, you know, Whitney Houston had a lot of pressure as well. She said, look around, all these people rely on me being able to stand up on the stage and sing. And the voice is such a fragile thing. And wow. So let's pull cards and see what's going on for her.
I'm gonna mute real quick because I'm a loud shuffler, and
don't worry about that. Let rip. No, let rip. We need to hear the, you know, the cling clang.
Oh, are you sure? A lot of people are like, Sheila.
Nah, let rip. I'm all into that. I love a bit of the rough and edge.
So the question is with Britney Spears is what is
what's her future going forward? Because she is a troubled soul, isn't she? What's her future going forward? Britney Spears, bless her. Yeah. Oh, even just tuning in with the energy, I get the shivers, and I hope it works out for her. Okay, Britney Spears. I'm not getting the best feeling, I must say, but hopefully, let's see what the cards bring up. So whenever you're ready, Sheila, you are the guest, so you go first.
Well, what comes up first is gratitude. Be careful of whoever comes, because it has been sent as a guide for beyond. So gratitude kind of comes up with her, and I'm not sure exactly where it places, other than the last card kind of places it. I think her gratitude. Maybe she's grateful for this separation. Maybe he's grateful for this separation. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's some sort of gratitude coming around this whole thing. So I think it's maybe a mutual agreement. And I also get expectations. So there was some high expectations in this relationship that just were not met. They were not held against. The rules or regulations of marriage just were not upheld, because then there's mercy. And I think this is where her mental disease is right here, her mercy, the mercy of the mental disease that he had, or they have, or somebody has about that, because she's losing her dignity in her mental illness. And I have a feeling that she has a long ways to go. There's something there in that. And I wish her the best. You know, I really do. It's hard to be a public figure and deal with mental illness. It's not a good combination. So
yeah. Very, very interesting. So I pulled 5 cards, and it's just very interesting. I always find it amazing how spirit tunes in. So what's Britney Spears? Look at this. She's a star. Yeah, absolute mega star. I mean, I can still remember when I heard that song, Britney's first hit, Hit Me Baby One More Time. I actually remember it on the radio, and we were driving in some van somewhere. I can't even remember what the whole thing was about. But we stopped the van to listen. I mean, if you just think, I mean, songs don't make a big impact like that anymore, because everything is like in the club, and why did you leave me? You know, it's all the same. Do you know what I mean? But it was just that doom, you know, it just really caught on. So she became pretty much an instant star overnight. But here, obviously, because we're talking about the context of Britney Spears here, look how many stars are in that firmament. And look at that huge one above her head. Yeah. So it's almost like the glare of fame was just too much. And there was nowhere. She felt naked. Do you remember when she cut her hair off and all that kind of stuff? I think it was just too much. When we look here in the obstacle position. Now, this is interesting. In a funny way, now here I've got the Queen of Wands, and I associate the Wands, particularly Kings and Queens, with entrepreneurship. Yeah, in fact, actually, the 2 and 3 of Wands are similar. And here we have a person here, she's using her intuition. Now, the Queen of Wands is in control, but this is turned up in the obstacle position. So I think this was her conservatorship that she was put under by her father, which, of course, just made things worse. I mean, she said she just felt like, literally, she felt like a slave. The next card here, we got the Page of Cups. Now, you know my nickname for this card is Stinky Fish, yeah? But I mean, the reason why is because it's, you know, it can mean unpleasant messages, unexpected messages. And I think this is also talking about what Britney has had to say after her conservatorship and how in many ways she wasn't able to get her voice out. And I think the things that we learned actually were really quite unpleasant about her mental state. And because I've actually heard her talking about that and her mental health, and it was really quite shocking what she went through. Really was quite shocking. And then when we look here, there is the Seven of Swords, trying to get away with something and stuff like that. I think this is a mixture. I think this is talking about her father's control, but basically kind of stealing her away. I also think this is Britney escaping that conservatorship, but I also have a feeling it might be the soon-to-be ex-husband as well. I don't know him, but when I saw the whole marriage thing, I was just like, probably there for the money. Yeah, probably there
I did
for the
too. I did too.
And then the outcome card here is the Two of Wands, and here you can see he's making plans, he's prospecting. So I think this, maybe Britney's going to move on. This could also, I think this is also the husband as well. Apparently they say it's amicable, but maybe she's going to move on to bigger and brighter things. Maybe she just needs a bit of time to plan. Maybe could this be a world tour? Perhaps.
Maybe, yeah.
So maybe that might be, I have a feeling for her to cope, she may throw herself into work and maybe plan a new world tour. That's my take.
Very well. Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, well, the only thing I could add to that is the pages with the Page of Cups. All the pages always as the immature person, and at first when you said the Page of Cups is the immature emotions, I was just thinking about that when you had brought that. But I'm glad of the different perspective with the stinky fish, bad messages. I like it.
Yeah, I've been calling that the Page of Cups stinky fish for a while, but it tends to be an unsettling or an unusual or strange message because he's standing there with a cup and there's a fish leaping out. So it is very unusual. Okay, are you ready for the next question?
I am.
Okay, so the next question, this is now talking about Venus retrograde in terms of divorce again, but this time it's about Brexit. Yeah, so Britney and Brexit back to back. I thought I couldn't resist having those two subjects back to back. Now, where I got this question from, there's a man called James O'Brien, and he's a presenter on LBC Radio, yeah, which is this big talk. People can talk about all sorts of current events, political stuff, and he's been very scathing of Brexit. But what he revealed was, and I knew this, but I didn't know it's got to this stage. So a majority of UK citizens now wish to rejoin the EU, yeah, because, you know, it's been an absolute disaster for the economy. And on Saturday, the 23rd of September, there will be a rejoin march, which will be happening in Hyde Park, and it's going to march past Downing Street and then end in Parliament Square, which is just opposite Parliament, which is where most of our protests sort of like end up there. And of course, that is looking again at that because Brexit was seen as what? The big divorce, Venus retrograde, but also all these planets retrograde, review, revise, reassess. A lot of people that voted leave are like, maybe it wasn't the best idea. So the question here is, will the UK return to the EU?
All right.
Throw that one at you, Sheila.
All right, let's go.
And while you're shuffling, I'll click up on some people.
Gotcha.
Who are for joining us, everyone. Karina says she will not survive a world tour. She needs to deal with her mental health. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
But you do have a good point. A lot of people with mental illnesses will do something. Yeah, will try to cure it the other way. You know, something. So that does make a lot of sense to me.
That my gut tells me I think that's how she's going to go. So we've got Amanda, Ronda-Roo, Foggy Ozark. There we are.
The EU. Oh.
Tough enough to turn no problems around. I hope so. All right, let me shuffle it. Will the UK rejoin the EU?
I need some clarification on these cards.
Oh, that's quite juicy then.
Well, I do believe something is coming through. Okay. Shall I go?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I got the Six of Cups, which I thought was charity. I thought, well, yeah, they're going to offer, back in this, that, and the other. But the offer gets crushed.
Wow.
The offer gets crushed. So that kind of gave me a wondering thing. And then I got death. I'm like, no, absolutely not. But then I got ascension, meaning rebirth, something new. So yeah, I was like, okay. So now I have the Page of Cups, new emotions around it, new thoughts, new something around it, and the denial of what went wrong before has to be talked about, has to be realizations of what went wrong. It's like somebody goes, well, let's come back to the table before we do this. Let's not rush it. Let's talk about what went wrong, what went this, or what this, and all that. So it kind of feels like a conversation at this time, not necessarily a quick answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think that's very interesting. Very interesting. And it's so funny with my cards. I pulled 5 cards, and 3 of them are pentacles. So
money.
The question is, will the UK go back to the EU? And look who turns up, the Page of Pentacles. So for me, this is almost like Oliver Twist, like, please, sir, please, may we have some more? Yeah.
Charity.
Especially when you see one of the cards that comes up in the middle. So I think this is the UK wanting to go back in, but almost with a piddling offer. Do you see? It's kind of like, it's not like it's the Queen of Pentacles or the King of Pentacles or the Ace of Pentacles, which we'll be talking about a big commitment. It's almost like we timidly go back and are kind of like asking for a little bit of coin. So maybe they might be like, look, can we be maybe part of the single market, but let's leave us out of the rest, which technically doesn't work because you either sign up for it all or you don't. If you look here in the obstacle position, Pentacles again, so we can see it's all about money. You know why, Sheila? Because the economy is not doing well in the UK.
Right.
So if we look here, we've got the Knight of Pentacles as the obstacle position. So everything's moving what? Slowly.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. The economy is slowing down, everything. And it's almost like everyone is watching the slow car crash from the hill. Yeah, because there's still people who are, or still sections of the media that aren't fully admitting to the truth. Look at this. Look what's coming up in the future. 6 of Pentacles. And obviously will be the EU here, the one that's got, got the money and the wealth relative to us. And then look, could that be us in the UK asking for the crumbs? Please, sir, may we have some more?
Yeah? Right. That's what I got was charity. Exactly.
Yeah, you got that with charity. So again, that shows because 40% of our mainstay economy was with the EU. I mean, it was absolute. Anyways, too long to go into, but it was madness what happened, and it was a bamboozlement. So this, I think, is the situation now. The economy not doing so well. However, we get this card here, which is the happy family, 10 of Cups and stuff like that. However, we're talking about politics. And very often when I pull this card and many others, when we're talking about the GOP and stuff, it can be talking about the false family. And I think in many ways, these were some of the false ideas of what people thought they were going to get with Brexit when they left. But it wasn't true. It's not been happy families. It's been tough. People don't have any money. The NHS is not doing well. So it was what? A lie. And then the outcome card here is the walking away. So I think you're correct, Sheila, in the sense of we may approach the EU, but the EU may be like, no, yeah, no, or we don't meet the criteria, because there are certain criteria for joining the EU. So of course, if the economy continues to stagnate, by the time that the politics pick up the courage, we may not meet the criteria anymore. So we'll have to see. But I think it also means people are walking away from the falsehood.
Yeah.
People recognize it was all rubbish. Anything you'd like to add to that, Sheila?
I just wanted to say hello to Footprint. She's in the apparently she's in the chat. Footprint Chrissy.
Hello, hello.
Do you know who that is?
There's quite a lot of people in
yeah, there is a lot. Sharon Sipe, all of that. I just wanted to say hi to Chrissy. I'm doing a collaboration with her. I think it's next week sometime. I think it is. Yeah, I think it's Saturday. Yep, next Saturday. I'm doing a collaboration with her.
Lovely. Is it before or after Hogarth?
After. Well, wait. Let me see. Because I never want to. It's at. I think it's at 8 p.m. on Saturday, but it'll be a taped. It'll be on my channel, and it'll be taped, so it won't be a live.
I'll have to tune in, but there's room for everyone, of course, and we're all here doing our work and sharing our gifts and abilities, so and giving people a lot of comfort and guidance as well, and knowledge. So I just want to say a big up to all of us readers out there. You're all doing a great job. All doing a great job.
I really do try very, very hard never to step on anybody else's lives and stuff like that. I'm that reader, right? Yeah, if one of my friends or a reader that I know really well is going live, I won't go live at the same time. I mean, especially if they had it first, you know what I mean? They have that slot first. Yes. I'm like, I don't know why. I'm like that. All I know that, YouTube is inclusive and everybody can go back and see all the videos, at their leisure, but I don't know. Are you kind of like that too? I'm not.
Yeah, me too. I try not to clash too much, because also as well, I also want people to have a chance to see everyone else's content, as well. And there are just certain channels that have grown who have a certain slot that is evolved over time. Not that anyone owns slots, but do you know what I mean? There's a usual time certain people go up and you're just like, oh yeah, no, let give them that's their slot, because they were one of the first and they established it. Do you know what I mean? So I do try and respect people's times when I can, and if I don't, it's because it's some emergency thing or something so outrageous has happened in the news. You just click the button and you're just like, I just have to let rip with this thing. Yeah. So, are you ready for the next question?
I am.
All right, so this is about George Santos. Oh my goodness. Just to show how absurd the politics is. I mean, whoever thought that the GOP would have in their ranks someone who is basically a failed drag queen and petty thief? I mean, it's just...
Well, who would have thought that his vote would supersede his character?
Indeed. Yeah. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really bizarre that his vote has superseded his character. And they know dang well that if they place him out, that another Democrat's coming in. So they're not even going to achieve anything that they want out of that. So
absolutely. And so a lot of people were saying, because I've done his chart as well and his cards and stuff, and a lot of people were like, George Santos is only going to last a few weeks. And what I said he will last as long as McCarthy needs him.
I said the same thing. He's there until they're done. Absolutely.
Simple as that, until he's dragged out of there. So this question has come in from Nancy D. And she said, will anything happen to George Santos? She's actually squeezed in another one. And how long will McCarthy be speaker? So let's do George Santos, and then we can I think we've got time to look at McCarthy as well. Why not?
No, there was something else. So there's something vaguely I remember another... news article about Santos recently, and I can't think about something else was going on with him. I know that he is facing charges. Anyways, it'll come to me. All right. So what the question is, what?
So it's will anything happen to George Santos? So, you know, what's the energy around here? And how long will McCarthy be speaker? So we can tackle both. We've got enough time.
Okay.
Actually, let me just focus again. Just focus. Well, at least he's kept himself quiet for now. Remember, do you remember when he was dishing out cupcakes to the press outside of his door?
I wouldn't eat one of his cupcakes.
Oh, I know they're probably laced with cyanide or something, or laxatives. Actually, they're probably laxative cakes, wouldn't they?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, take these cakes, and then, you know, the poor hapless person will have an eventful night.
I bet you he doesn't even wash his hands after he goes to the bathroom. I wouldn't touch nothing he handed over. He just doesn't look like a sanitary type of person.
Yeah. Changing his identity in the washroom each time. I mean, to think that this is where the Republican Party has gone is just astonishing. It was unthinkable, even, well, definitely like pre-Trump, but I mean, wow, just unthinkable.
Yep.
But hey, ticks the box for diversity and inclusion. He's got all of them. All right, so here we go. Oh, very interesting.
Christmas.
What do you have, Sheila?
Well, I have a mixed bag of a whole bunch of information, and I have a feeling that we're encountering with him his narrative and the truth is clashing right now in my cards right now, because I do have him King of Wands. He has this big grandiose idea of what he can get in there and do. I mean, he literally thinks, who cares if I lied? I am in Congress and I have power. Who cares? Who cares? He has zero ability to do that. But he has this wavering thing he keeps on doing too. Like, he thinks he has grandioses, but in his heart and in everything, oh, I should just leave. I don't like it. He doesn't have stay in him. You know how somebody has a lot of strength within them to do something good for the country, but he's not good for the country. He's a liar. He's a cheater. So he doesn't have stay. So he has a lot of this going on inside of him, that wavering. I got to get out of here. I also got judgment. He's going to come down on some stuff. He's going to have some rough days ahead, and he's going to have to somehow, some way, either reassess, pull back, something drastic inside is going to happen within him, and he's going to have he's worried about his money, but he's the fool can, like a new enterprise, because of his lying and cheating and stealing. There's something drastic's going to happen, and I tell you, when I get the fool and the lying, and I get the strength card behind that, it always reminds me that he's going to be walloped in a strong way. Right. That's what my cohesiveness with my cards, when I get those right behind it. So it's gonna be harsh. He's gonna think he's gonna be in a position to feel like he's a victim. We're gonna hear it. It's gonna be harsh for him.
Wow. So it looks like, because of course, at the moment, of course, it's all duck l'orange. And for those that may be new, we know that I mean that by Donald Trump. You know, we've got the different names, the Yeti and all this kind of stuff. For me, he's duck l'orange. And I think once that is further processed, shall we say, once maybe the first charges are put down and more of the co-conspirators begin to sort of like fall under the wheels, shall we say, it's inevitable that that Santos, will be next, because the political cycle would have moved on, the political calculations would have moved on. And when it comes to that time of coming up to the general election, where liabilities are going to be much more scrutinized by the American people, I think it's going to be much more difficult for him to stick around, because he's just you know, extraordinary. And the cards that I got for him, oh, look at this, Sheila. So the first card I got for him here, Major Arcana, we got the Lovers. And the Lovers, of course, it can talk about, you know, relationships, collaboration, even business. But really, it does talk about choices. But it talks about fateful choices, big ones. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's quite interesting because with your cards, they were showing this internal stuff going on.
Right.
And I think you're right. He's not sure if he wants to stick around anymore. Is it stick or twist? Because apparently he doesn't have any friends there. You know, he's not popular.
Well, he has Marjorie. He has margarine.
Oh, well, you know, and God, I mean, imagine if Marjorie is the only one who sees your best friend.
Yeah, she's a true friend, right? She's a true friend.
Oh, she's another one who's just, you know, it's just extraordinary stuff. Now, if we look here, we've got the 8 of Wands. Now, normally this means things speeding up, going faster and stuff, but it's turned up in the obstacle position. So sometimes you can consider it reversed, which is the way I interpret this is that a lot of people expected him to be out in a flash because the 8 of Wands is a very fast card. But really, if you turn it around the other way, things have got gummed up in the works. It can mean as well things to do with business and the normal processes of things didn't work. Yeah. So he's still kind of there. However, look who's in the middle. Death card. So either way, he is undergoing a transformation. He might be sitting quiet for now, but there is a lot going on in his life. And I think, like you said, when that wheels of justice really begin to turn for him, I think it's going to be really quite significant. We can see here the kind of spy in the camp card, another page, again, which can talk about immaturity. And he's said a lot of dumb stuff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. This can be the spy in the camp, but I feel this has been his attitude to the electorate. He used his sophistry and his lies to basically get himself into power. But ultimately, where does it lead? Again, I think this is a correlation with you. Being defeated in battle, 4 of Swords. So I think you're right. He's going to be hit left field by something, and it's going to feel like almost like a death process for him, because you can't have two cards. You can't have these two turn up in a reading and expect, you know, things to work out. It's just not how it is. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's only going to be like a one-term congressman. There's no way he's going to be reelected in 2024.
It's almost impossible, isn't it? Yeah, it'd be almost impossible. Let's see who else is in the house. So we've got Azalea. Thanksgiving years ago. What's this? So Thanksgiving a few years ago, my aunt and cousin got into an argument about Brexit, which resulted in my aunt crying and leaving early. We live in Texas. My aunt is from England. Wow. Yeah, it's just divided a lot of people. Really, it really has. It really has. Let's see here. Who else? Here we are. Sharon Cyper. We all love alive. Thank you for joining us. Joan Baker is here and many others. Okay, are you ready for the next question?
I am.
Let's go for it. We've got just over 700 in the house with us as well. So thank you guys. That's amazing.
Yes. Welcome everybody for being here. I mean, I think you and I don't know what I'm a Gemini. So what are you?
In tropical Western, I'm Libra. Yeah, so we'd be Gemini and Libra, 2 air signs. Yeah, that's what we get along so well.
I'm Gemini, Sagittarius, Aquarius.
Oh, wow. Oh, that would make sense. Yeah.
And then all of my planets are in Gemini.
Wow. But you see, Gemini is what? Communication, social media, conversations, backwards and forward. It makes absolute sense.
Yeah, but I'm also an empath and a recluse. So I don't know what's wrong. My Aquarian portion of me keeps me home.
Well, yeah, but you know what? You are absolutely right, because one of the things that a lot of people don't know about Aquarius is that it is very akin to the Hermit card. It has a very similar energy. So I associate planet Saturn with the Hermit, because part of his thing is restrictions and going within. But there's a funny thing with Aquarius, which is that it can be gregarious and very into the community and technology and advancement and stuff like that. But then there's a side of Aquarius which needs to be alone, have peace, have quiet, to reflect, because sometimes humanity is just a little bit too intense. So it's kind of, that makes total sense to me. So this next question, we're going to jump in our esoteric aeroplane and we're going to Russia on this one. So question number 4, and this is coming from Barbara Alameda, and she said, is Russia interfering with the 2024 elections? Maybe a bit soon, but let's pull on that and see what Spirit has to say.
Okay.
Well, he's bound to be doing something, isn't it, Putin? How could he not be?
I know. He's wishing. If there's anything he's doing, he's wishing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, he's looking at his favorite weapon of mass destruction, which of course is Duck L'Orange.
Yes, exactly. Is my shuffling in the chat? Is my shuffling too loud? Let me know. My shuffling is right next to my.
I love it. I love a bit of shuffling.
Right. Sometimes
you are allowed to shuffle as loud as you like here on this channel. You're my guest. So there you are.
Okay.
Is Russia interfering with the?
Ooh, I feel other cards. I feel my situation. I feel other cards.
Ooh, I'm getting the shivers as well. My goodness, there's quite a bit of energy with this.
I'm an introvert instead of a recluse. I guess there is a huge difference, but yes, I am a definite introvert for sure.
Oh, look at you! You will not believe the first card that when you see. It always comes up whenever I talk about Russia. Oh, all right. Well, I've got my cards. What do you have, Sheila?
Well, you go for it because I'm still pulling mine out.
Oh, perfect. No problem. And Kathy Dilly says, you guys are so uplifting. Thank you. All right. This is so remarkable. Whenever, and this will happen with a lot of readers, but particularly on Hogarth as well. Here we are talking about Russia. And who do we get? The 7 of Swords, the guy with the Russian cap. stealing the swords and leaving only 2 behind. So in a way, that one card basically says, yes, he's trying to meddle wherever he can. He's obviously trying to help out his plant. But it's not just that as well. Putinshka is also a destabilizer of democracies in general. Or it's about playing certain democracies off against each other. Because, of course, it's about trying to realign the power structures, here in the world. So here we are, yes, definitely trying to get away with something sneaky stuff. Who is it in regards to? Look at that, the King of Pentacles. And this, of course, can be Trump, So, because here he is sitting there on the throne, and it for me is too much of a coincidence, because obviously it'll be trying to steal something for Trump, Duck L'Orange, so they're still trying. However, Putin or Russia has got a lot of decisions to make because they get the Lovers as well. And you know how I'm interpreting this? I think Russia is looking to other places for allegiances.
Yes.
Because they're working, Russia's one of the BRIC nations. So you've got Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they're working on this new currency together, which is apparently going to be backed by gold. I've mentioned this in other channels. But of course, the Lovers isn't just choices. It also means business as well. Business deals, trade, big stuff. So I think Russia they're doing their meddling, but they're also looking at other business opportunities around the world.
Loyalty.
They've signed a lot of contracts with Africa. They're going to be moving forward with this stuff at pace. So I feel like, in a way, they're kind of like, they're going to do the maximum meddling that they can with America. But in many ways, they've succeeded in causing such disruption. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like mission accomplished. It's almost like they might even reach a point where, they'd be like, you know what, we're moving on from this guy. We'll move on from Duck L'Orange because he's going to end up in jail or whatever. He's not going to be so useful for us anymore. And they might, sorry, I dropped a card. And they might have other ideas. So when I look at this together, two major arcana, yeah, it looks like they're looking for new opportunities and business elsewhere. However, when we look at the outcome card, 4 of Wands, sometimes I refer to this as the White House. So I think Putin is trying to reach a milestone. I think he's hoping that the world is going to get exhausted with the Ukraine war. I think he's also hoping that someone will come in power in the White House that is obviously not going to support Ukraine. However, this card is quite mixed, because it's like, but you know, if you see it's a celebratory scene, is it the case that America is able to hold on to its democracy even with all of the meddling? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So I think that's quite interesting. What do you have?
Sorry about the dogs. Can you hear the dogs?
That's all right.
Apparently somebody showed up at the door. They're upstairs. Well, that's very interesting, because I think I got the mental portion of the question, because I got his obsession and his delusion of what he can and cannot do in this country. His obsession of meddling and controlling and trying to get in. But he hits this, he has to throw delusion out into the confusion. You know, nobody can really understand what's going on. Who do we pick? Where do we go? Right? That's his favorite, obsession of the delusion he creates. And then I got really the King of Cups and unconditional. And I thought, that's a bizarre combination. The King of Cups and the unconditional. So the King of Cups has a lot to do with medicine. Is he getting medicine in this country?
Wow.
I know. That's what I thought. Unconditional and the King of Cups. The compassion that he has for his medical condition. Now, I have no idea how is he getting medicine? Is the reason why he's being alive or he's staying alive, is because I thought that was a bizarre little opening right there, because I also got the single and talent all by himself. He's a tower. He's a chaos. He's horrible all by himself. So he can't do anything by himself. Everything will fall apart if he's all by himself. So he needs the team. The 3 of Pentacles. He needs the team, and but the karmic lesson behind all of that is, again, not working to his benefit. And it's like this double-edged thing going on with him. Like I said, I kind of gotten into the psyche of it. He knows what he wants, but he has his medical condition, and I can't do this alone, and I've messed everything up, and this is his reality right now.
And how does he go back? He
can't. He's obsessed. An obsession is absolutely almost near unreversible or reversible, however you say that, when you already are connected with that delusion and that obsession to get it done. He's like a pit bull. Once a pit bull bites onto you and when something happens, they're not letting you go. That's him right now.
Wow.
So that was weird.
And do you know what sprung into my mind? And it was something I saw recently, but when you were talking about drugs and stuff like that, well, there's been stories that have been breaking about how China maybe it's not even maybe, they're saying they basically are connected with some of the cartels in Mexico to bring fentanyl across the border. Yeah,
right.
Because fentanyl has been causing absolutely massive problems. But of course, China and Russia are like that. And you got the drugs card that came up, and it just made me think. I wanted you to finish your flow.
Yes.
And he's actually tapped onto that. I think he would have also been coordinating, of course, with Xi Jinping for entertainment purposes only. But we know that they're like this.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that they would be talking about. And I think that might also be part of the sabotage as well. Flooding, yeah, keep that.
I think you're onto something there, Mr. Hogarth. I think I think you nailed it. I kind of thought maybe he was getting the drugs, but I think you're right. He is the cause of all of the drugs coming across. And that is how he is destroying. What better way to destroy anybody if they're an alcoholic? What's a better way to give them alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And he knows that our country can be very addictive personalities.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And it's just when you pulled those cards, it just went dong. I was like, oh my goodness. So that was quite interesting, wasn't it? The way that turned out. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That went very deep. Okay. Are you ready for the next question?
I am.
All right. Now this question, I'm calling this a machete question. Why am I calling it a machete question? Because there's once in a while, some people, they want some questions answers, and you kind of like, this one is a little, but I think they're important to answer from time to time. So you may or may not know, have you heard, apparently there are issues now in Florida and Texas to do with leprosy. Have you been hearing about this? Yeah, leprosy, and I think...
And dengue fever.
Really?
Yeah, there's an outbreak of dengue fever right now, and also in Florida from the mosquitoes.
Right, because
breaking bone, is that the same? That's the breaking bones disease. The breaking bones, because it feels like breaking bones. That's how painful it is. Dengue
really?
Fever. Yeah. So there's leprosy, dengue fever, and COVID. It is also rising in Florida right now.
Right. Well, look, I've got some interesting tidbits here, and one of the things so obviously, as you know, with the astrology and stuff like that, Mars today has moved into sidereal Virgo. So of course with Vedic astrology everything is backed by almost 24 degrees, but today he's moved into sidereal Virgo, and I've been talking about it for a little while. But when Mars moves into Virgo, it's considered an enemy sign. But Mars deals with health and healing and overcoming obstacles. But he's heat, fiery. He's the planet of war, conflict, surgery as well, but can also be injuries as well. Oh, hello, the doggy's coming. Oh,
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but she has to always say hi. I'm listening to you.
I love it when the pets come.
So I'm very interested in this. So Virgo is what? Virgo is in...
Virgo as a sign. So basically in Western astrology, Western tropical reads from the position of the sun. Yeah. Okay. But the stars have been moving backwards slowly by 1 degree every 72 years. Too long to explain. But so we have the sidereal astrology, which is Indian astrology, which actually follows where the stars are. And according to that, Mars today has moved into sidereal Virgo. Now, Virgo is a sign that's all about health and healing and overcoming obstacles. So it is often associated with disease. And I've been saying on my channel, around about this time, late in August, there's going to be stories talking about disease and stuff like that. And I said, maybe even a bit of COVID might come back, or now it seems to be fitting. Yeah.
You nailed it.
So, and this will develop. So he's going to be staying in Virgo, I think until early October, something like that. So this person asked, and this is why I'm saying it's a machete question, but I'll qualify it. So Lynn Streeter said, with leprosy in Florida and Texas, is this due to immigration? Because there's immigrants, as we know. They are now in New York and New Hampshire. Will there be more breakouts and uprisings? So what I wanted to add to that, of course, is that, of course, we're not, and I'm not saying this person is trying to demonize, they're not, they're just asking a question, but we're just understanding that these people, they're coming from very tough environments. Their immune systems may not be that great. Let's just see what the cards have to say, because I'm very reluctant to say, well,
I have a little wrench. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I kind of have a little wrench to put in that, because most of their migrants left Florida.
Exactly.
They left.
Exactly.
They're not flooding into Florida, and they're not working in Florida right now. They're not working that out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
And
So
what I did was I looked up leprosy, which is also called, what is it called? It's got another name. There's another name for it. Crumbs, I can't find the other name for it. But I just thought I would read up on this. So how do people, Hansen's disease, that's what it's also called. And I'll just read this little bit. It said, it's not known exactly how Hansen disease spreads between people. So even to this day, they're still not sure. It says, scientists currently think it may happen when a person with Hansen's disease coughs or sneezes, and a healthy person breathes in the droplets containing the bacteria. Prolonged close contact with someone with untreated leprosy over many months is needed to catch the disease. So it goes on to say you cannot get leprosy from casual contact with a person who has Hansen's disease, like shaking hands or hugging, sitting next to each other on the bus, or sitting together at a meal. So, you know, if there is an issue with leprosy and stuff like that, it would have to be, it's not so easily transmitted. So we can't be sure of where the source is from. That's what actually even it says in the article, because it takes so long. So I just thought I would add that there. And also as well, you can catch it from armadillos.
Well, that was my first thought, because they have an overpopulation in Florida of, I had it. Why do I always lose it? It's age. Something happened. Of the iguanas.
Do they?
Yeah, I mean, iguanas, when the temperature drops in Florida, so do iguanas fall out of the trees because they freeze up. So if it goes down to like 40 degrees, or even if it ever gets to like freezing or whatever, iguanas drop from the trees. Like, yeah, I'm not kidding. So they have an overpopulation of iguanas that are in the trees everywhere. Not of course, and then they have of course alligators as well. I mean, they have a lot of reptiles. They have a lot of overpopulation of a lot of animals in Florida.
And also
the sargassum also came ashore. The sargassum.
Has it arrived? I wanted to ask about that.
Yep,
Has it arrived?
Yeah, the sargassum seaweed also arrived with a flesh-eating bacteria.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
Mars going into Virgo. Wow.
Yes, I wouldn't go to Florida for nothing. But yeah, there's a lot going on in that environment. Yeah. Although I'm not a doctor or anybody that could ever diagnose any of that. But I'm kind of thinking when I throw these cards, maybe, who knows what Spirit has to say, that maybe all of this is not common. It's
that's the sense I'm getting, because it's like you said, it's the heat as well. Yeah, it's the heat, the energy. But thank you so much, and I'm so glad that I went for that machete question, because by asking you, you've revealed all that extra information that I didn't know about. So if we think we've got the seaweed, we've got the animals, the alligators, just think of the levels of bacteria as well. Septic tanks, water that's standing still. Things could be crawling in there, falling in there, and all brewing up and breeding and whatnot. Yeah. So, we've got just over 800. Just over 800 people here. Amazing. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Somebody said the iguanas taste like chicken.
Yeah, apparently they do. If you ever short of food, get one of them on the skillet, with a bit of hot sauce.
That's dinner when they fall.
Just go around with buckets. Yeah?
Yeah.
Catch the iguana. Wow.
That's Grubhub. You turn down the temperature outside, we get Grubhub. Iguanas falling from the sky.
Exactly. Wow.
Oh my gosh, that was funny.
So let's see what the Spirit has to say. Let's just ask about disease. This stuff.
There's one more thing, and I forgot about this. The retroactive waste paved in the roads in Florida. I'm not a scientist on this, but they put some sort of radioactive, waste in the paved roads in Florida. They have integrated that, something that was, I'm not horrific on all of that, but that was another thing that Florida has done.
Astonishing.
It is astonishing what's going on in Florida. I wish my friends would get out. I wish Lori from Way of Positive Change, I wish I could snatch her and her whole family out of Florida to keep her safe. Wow. Anyhow, go for it.
Yeah. Are you still shuffling? I can go if you
want.
Go
for it. Yeah, I'm a slow shuffler.
Right. No problem. All right. This is very interesting. So this is the context of asking, about disease and stuff like that. I don't think it's a migrant thing. I can understand the question, but that's not what my cards are showing. So first card out of the hatch. Look at this. It's the Hierophant. Government. This is obviously going to be talking about who? DeSantis. Something to do with him and decisions and choices that are being made. Probably not the right choices. Let's put it that way. Probably not the right choices. This is something to do on the government level. Maybe it's something to do with the infrastructure, maybe not cleaning the waters properly, maintaining things to do with, disease. And because look, when things are hot, things overgrow. Everything overgrows, and stagnant water in particular becomes quite dangerous. So I think this is much more to do with the states of Florida and Texas, as Texas was part of the mix as well. So it's to do with the leadership. Look what comes in the obstacle position. 9 of Pentacles. So this is normally what the hostess with the mostess, this is about a successful person that is living off the fruits, of their labors, and they can chillax and enjoy. But it's fallen in the obstacle position. And I always say, when you see the 9 of Pentacles either reversed or in the obstacle position, it can actually refer to prostitution or selling out of one's morals. Put those two together. Now we're starting to see why. Something in the government, they're morally just not right. It's corrupt, basically. They're not doing right sanitation. They're not looking after people. It's just not right. It's just not right. If we look here in the middle, we've got the Page of Wands. Now, this is really fascinating because pages, of course, are all about messages. But the Page of Wands can deal with students as well. And isn't it interesting what's going on in Florida right now with the education? I mean, they're practically burning, and they're banning books, but they may as well be burning them in the town square with maybe throwing a few iguanas on top, just for extra nutrition. So I think this is also as well, it's talking about the youth. I think this is also talking about people beginning to maybe raise their voices, their concerns in Florida. And as we know as well, DeSantis's campaign is not going quite so well. Looky here, they're going to have to a balancing act, juggling. So it's looking like Florida and Texas, they're going to have to sort this. They can't let it progress because summer's not done yet. And particularly things with mosquitoes, dengue fever, we all know mosquitoes breed most what? In the summer. That's when they're the most dangerous because the heat actually brings on their gestation process for being able to produce disease. Yeah. So I think they need to look at this and take this a bit more seriously and really kind of try and balance something out rather than trying to manipulate with the politics. And then look at the outcome card. Sadly, look, 5 of Cups. So maybe they don't get the balance right, and maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe more people get sick. That's how I'm seeing it. What do you have?
Well, I wanted to also mention that the iguanas are only south of South Florida and Miami. So I wanted to make sure that you guys were. I was corrected. It's not the whole of Florida. So, right. But it's. what I got here was I got the Five of Swords, the lion, cheating, stealing. You know, a contractor will skimp over here, or a government worker will skimp over here, not get it right, things like that. And I also got feelings on that. Now, when I looked at that and I got feelings, I was like, well, why would we have feelings attached to that? And it's the feelings of not guilt, because guilt would mean that they would actually be ashamed of what they're doing, but they're feeling like all this lying, cheating, stealing is not doing, they're like feeling it. Like, this wasn't really well. This isn't doing good, like angry about it. They're like starting to get a little mustard around it. And this one right here is self-imposed, Florida's self-imposed problems. Things are what is this word? Metamorphosis. There we go. Metamorphosis around their self-imposed problems. So it is amping up their stuff. They could have fixed it. You know how she is. She's only wrapped in
loose.
Loose. She could break away, but mentally they just cannot get away from how they deal with stuff down there, and it's getting worse. It's metamorphosing into some bad stuff. I too got the Two of Pentacles.
Did you? Look at that.
Make decisions and stuff like that, and the manifestation of the people down there. Maybe we should stop. Maybe we should do something better. Maybe we could. This is not. There's some down there, because I get the Ace of Swords. This is a clarity moment. They're going to cut through the BS. This is a clarity moment for Florida. You either going to suffer or you're going to fix this. There's just some people down there that are the adults in the room, if you will, that are starting to speak up about it. And dignity. They're losing their dignity. Isn't that weird how things just kind of go down? I mean, I'm an empath, as you are, probably. I don't know. The empaths kind of really tap into the emotional and mental, spiritual aspect of things. Yeah. And that's kind of how it feels to me down in Florida with that. And I don't think it has anything to do with the migrates. It's self-imposed.
No. I don't think it has either, because it would have shown, we would have had maybe like the Six of Swords, people traveling by boat, or there would have been cards that would do with travel and motion, or maybe like the Knight of Wands or something. Exactly. It wasn't talking about that at all. It's much more, it really is the government. And in fact, maybe they're actually, I wouldn't put it past DeSantis at all to be actually putting out spurious rumors like that. And like you said, a lot of people have also left Florida.
Yeah, they left.
It's kind of like he passed that rule and they all just,
Well, the mosquitoes have ample amount of rotting fruit.
Of course.
Because it's not being picked. There's a lot of stuff going on down there.
That's a really good point. Yeah, stuff will be rotting, not being picked. Water will be stagnant, where people will maybe clearing the waterways, or the seaweed is coming. And also as well, what's just occurred to me as well, of course, is that hurricane season will be coming soon as well. Yep. And that's not going to help. And that means all of that seaweed and stuff is probably going to blow up even more.
Well, they had to have a place to put it. So they scraped it off the beaches, especially where the popular beaches were, right? And then they dumped it inland somewhere.
And that could cause...
No, that's not going to cause a problem.
Yeah, because that's toxic as well.
Yes.
Can you believe it? We've gone over our hour, Sheila.
I know we were doing so good.
Next time, it's just. But I mean, it's been wonderful. It went so quick because obviously we like to try and keep the shows to an hour. Because we could have just kept on going and going.
But I do have one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. My mind goes so much. Okay. I have one more question. I would love to have you over there, especially in the UK, and me, find out if Trump is going to be arrested for all of his crap, if he's going to actually be arrested for all of his speech, this, that, and the other. In Georgia, in Georgia, he has to, it's the burden of proof is on Trump if he can stay out of trouble and not be a danger to society. It's not the other way around like in the other ones. It's he has to prove that he's going to be a good boy.
Right.
So I wonder.
Shall we? Let's have a quick pull.
What do you feel right off the bat? What do you think?
I think he is, as we would say, he's sailing close to the wind. Now, as you know, I do the astrology and all that kind of stuff. And everyone who watches my channel knows. And I said from 2023, things will start getting worse. And I said when Saturn went into sidereal Aquarius, which it did on the 17th of January 2023, I said so much more accountability will come. I said even for Trump. And I said by August it would start getting even worse. And I said by October we really could see some wheels coming off because his dasher sequence is going to change a bit. It's going to go to Jupiter K2. Too long to explain. And I think if he keeps running his lips, which he can't seem to help stop doing, he's got sidereally, he's got Mercury, planet of communication, in its own sign of Gemini. So he just can't stop himself. And so let's see. Let's quickly.
And then I see people in there like they really want to do Shakespeare, so we can't miss that. Yeah. Real quick on Trump and see if he's going to be detained, and then we'll go.
Yeah, and we'll do a bit of Shakespeare for Trump. We're going to do Matt Gaetz, but I'll save that for Hogarth. I'll do that one Hogarth. Otherwise, I'm having so much fun. But otherwise, we'll be here for 3 hours, and it was a video.
I know, and it's in the middle of the night for you, so I can only imagine. And it's a Friday night for me, so it doesn't matter for me.
Backwards. Look at this. Look, I shuffled. Look at this. I'm trying to turn it. Look.
Oh, the Fool.
Look at that. I mean, that's already speaking. That was the Fool there. That's already talking about Trump. All right. Will he be locked up for all the BS that is dribbling out of this guy's mouth? Gosh. Will Trump be locked up?
Well, I do have a Knight of Wands coming up, that lustful, that he can't keep it. There's no way he's gonna behave. He's got that lust in his soul too.
You would not believe my cards. Yeah, go on.
I can't wait because I got the lustful, and then I get the pain and the heartbreak. Those are my cards for him. I don't know if it says detained, but it does say he's going to be going through a few things. What did your cards say?
My cards, you will not believe this. I'm just going to show that. I'm going to show them all. I'm going to show them all at once because I got the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and then the Four of Swords.
Oh my God!
Basically, if he carries on, 2 female judges, I think it's 2 female judges are going to absolute kick his you-know-what. Then after he's been kicked on the floor by those 2 female judges, another male judge comes in. So, of course, this must be Jack Smith. And then just when you think he can't be kicked down anymore, another woman comes in and then just crushes him from the back. And then he's like, I'm done. He's like, I'm done. I'm out of here. Boom.
Let me explain my cards. It could be a few things.
I have never seen that. It's just legal trouble. They are just lining up. You know, it's like on Airplane. Do you remember that film Airplane? And there's a woman who panics. She's like, we're all going to die. We're all going to crash. And everyone lines up to be like, stop it. It's going to be like that. His legal stuff is going to become so epic that they just line up. Literally line up. 3
this is
female judges and a male judge. And he's like, you know what? I'm done. So there we are. We'll probably have to stop it there. But wasn't that funny?
That was a bit glorious.
I can't believe that. those cards were just like, wow. So yeah, if he keeps on with this, but also as well, it shows in the long term, I don't think he's getting out of this. It would take a miracle. It would take a miracle for him to get out of this. So there we are. Sheila, it was wonderful. That time just went too quickly. I cannot believe how quickly that time went. Thank you as well to everyone for joining us as well. Over 826 in the end, which is fabulous. Thank you for everyone who commented and joined us live, and if you donated as well. Sheila, of course, we'll have to do this again. It was so funny, funny. So we'll do our usual thing and we'll rejoin like the stars aligning. Maybe I could be on your channel next time or something.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. You can be on my channel now. Everybody, all of my subscribers know that I do an early bird, which will fit right perfect into an early bird live, which would fit perfectly into your time. Like I could do like a 6:30, 6 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Lovely. Yeah.
Well, what time would that be for you?
So if it's a 6 a.m. for you Mountain Time, I've got to put 7 hours on top of that. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. It'd be 1 p.m. for me. Great.
Wouldn't that be perfect?
Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna have to set up a time with that.
Absolutely. So we'll do the usual thing. So just drop me an email and we'll coordinate again, because it's so much fun. I'd love to be on your channel.
And I would love to.
Oh, go on.
I would love to have Kevin with us as well.
Yes. We wanted to have Kevin on. He couldn't make it on this one, so that will happen as well. We'll make that happen. So drop me an email. I've done my book now, and I'm checking emails now. Everybody, going through thousands. Anyway, never mind. And we will collaborate again soon. Thank you as well to everyone joining us this evening. It was so much fun, and that last read. Oh man,
that was glorious.
Till the next time, everyone, we'll see you soon. All right.
Bye. Bye-bye.